Okay, we are recording, and I'll tee you up. How does it feel having 6 years under your belt with the alternative highs? How does it feel?
Quite wild to think about that in that amount of time. 6 years of consistency is a lot of work. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay,
Let me tell you how excuses are gone / alternative highs started. Because when this all started, it was excuses are gone, a play on my last name, which the guy that helped me come up with that was the person I met with originally. He was into social media. So let's go back. I sobered up 2018, August the 17th. I've been sober. It'll be 8 years this summer. So 3 months after that, so let's call it September, October, November, December of 2018, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna try and be an inspirational, maybe a podcaster, maybe a vlogger, maybe just I had all kinds of ideas because when you're freshly sober, you are all over the place. And because I had started my partying career at the age of 14, I really never grew up. I was I was a 35-year-old kid. I didn't learn the things purposely that all my peers had learned at the age of, 17, 18, 19. I just was a professional partier. I was really good at it. So when I sobered up at 35 and I was like learning all these things, I was like, yeah, dude, normal shit. And I've blown away. So I called this guy who was in social media and said, listen, I've got some ideas I'd like to run by you. And he met me at the Taco Bell. We sat there, and by the end of that conversation, it was clear that I had no goddamn right trying to put that kind of energy out there with zero credibility. Because it's not, this isn't talking sobriety, talking trauma and working through it. Like, you need to make sure you know what it is you're talking about and how you approach that before you even think to talk to others about it. So I took some time. I was about 305 pounds. I spent about 2 years just lollygagging, trying to figure out who I was post sobriety. And then I talked to my doctor, Jody, who we've got to get on the podcast. And I said to him, I was like, dude, I am a barrel ass at this point in my life. Can I get jacked? I was like, what do you need my permission for? I'm like, well, got this spinal cord injury and this head injury. He's like, so that it started. I was in the gym. And then a couple months later, COVID hit. And I was like, well, that was short-lived. Or we can do something with it, which is what I decided to do. Excuses Are Gone was created. Now, what do you do with Excuses Are Gone while you're in COVID? I'm not that creative. I stay in my lane. I ask questions. I get people involved. And there was this dude that I had never met that, you either love him or you hate him or neither nor. It didn't matter. I like him. I think Ben is one of the top G's in this town. He says it how it is, whether he's right or wrong. He says it. And I dig that. I like when people stand to what they say. And Ben told me, he said, let's get you losing some weight. We started this 25-day, 100-kilometer challenge. I've spoken of this many times before. That's how this all got started. We did the challenge. At the end of the challenge, I did a half marathon. And by the time that half marathon was done, it took me, God, we started at 4 in the morning. I think I got done around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I was dog tired. I was sick to my stomach. This gentleman, Bruno, who I just absolutely adore, hey, dude, I brought you a bicycle. That was the worst French accent I could have ever given. My apologies to any French people. He brought me a bicycle. And I just looked at this dude, and in my head, I was like, WTF. I can't get my feet 6 inches off the ground. How am I going to get this? Whatever. I leaned the bike over, and I managed to get my legs on. Then I got on the bike, and I managed to bike around.
There he goes, there he goes. Woo! Way to go, Duty!
That moment, I realized, I was like, you are your own worst enemy, Mr. Gawne. You are the one that's boxing yourself up. You are the one that is getting in the way of your growth. So from that moment on, I dropped 100 pounds. I started biking every day. I started working out more and more. It was COVID still, so it took some time, but so 25-day, 100-kilometer challenge, I was like, man, that's cool. And for you Chatham, Kent people, no, we all love it. We've been out there, and if you haven't, go check it out. Rondo Bay is not a huge body of water, but there has been so many people that have spoke about swimming across the bay. And I've lived there. My parents have a cottage there since I was 12, 10, somewhere in there. I've never seen anybody swim it. I've heard lots of people talk about it. I thought, well, you know what? I need to be that guy. So later that summer after the walk, I believe July of 2020, 2021, whatever it was, I swam Rondo Bay. And let me tell you, that was the worst decision I ever made. I was not prepared for the shit kicking that I was getting ready to take afterwards. My blood was angry with me. I laid up for days, do my exercise, go back to bed. Get up, have food, go back to bed. My body, you wouldn't think, I didn't think, holy, what a crap kicking I took there. Probably won't be swimming across Lake Erie anytime soon, but I'd love to do another big body water swim. That was exciting. So the biking became passion at that point. It got to me. I was like, I can go places that these legs can't ever take me again. That hit me hard. I was in Rondo, I was at the point, and I was just looking out, and I bawled my eyes out because I didn't think I was ever going to see that again. And I just remember thinking, like, I've got to deliver this message. So I made some phone calls, called my doctor, Jody, said, hey, Jody, I got an idea. Great, let's go. He didn't even say what, he just said, let's go. So we went to, I'm not going to say any of the names because we parted ways and it wasn't the most pleasant thing that I had ever done. I got sponsorships and I was going to bike across Canada. And the bike across Canada trip was quickly put to a halt due to a burned butt and 3rd-degree burns where I could not do any sort of seat time for, God, man, I want to say 8 months of my life was taken there. And I was bedridden for 3 of those months because I went septic, got really infected, and I just made a huge mess of everything because when you got something like this, you gotta do what the doctors tell you. So I just stepped back, regroup. I was obviously in a bad mentally at that time because of everything that was going on in my life. And I asked Jody, my doctor, I said, will you join me? I don't know what it is we're doing. I don't know when we'll do it. But again, he said, let's go do it. Didn't ask what it was, didn't ask how it was. The only thing he said was, excuses are gone. Is a cool boat name for you someday, Dustin, but it ain't a me thing. I said, you know what? You're right. This is a team now. And I'll give you a quick story about Alternative Highs. Jody and his peer from University of Western started this campaign while they were in school. And Jody will be able to deliver this story a little bit better someday. But they started this, partying wasn't his thing. And he started Alternative Highs. And it was a cool idea. And the guy that he built this with, hopefully I can meet him someday because I'd like to ask him for some favors. But it died at a very young age. And Jody mentioned that name there was a few different names, and I just kept going back to Alternative Highs. For one, I wanted to honor Jody. For two, I thought maybe having the first letter of the alphabet being in the title would be good for the algorithm. Marketing, always trying to think. I don't know nothing about it, but I thought maybe I did. So Alternative Highs was born. And then it just became, what do we do? How do we do it? Why do we do it? And I started with his boys. He's got three. They're 23, 21, and 17 now, but they're 4 years ago, they were much younger. They're 4 years younger. But they, they would come and spend the day. They'd spend their PA days with me, and they would go jump in the lake with me during February. We walked across the bay, just teaching them, adversity. It's not something that really can be taught, but they can go through me. They can tunnel their ideas. There was things that Jode didn't know, and he said that I could give, and that was a huge thing for a man of his background to say to me that didn't really have that background. Because like I said, I started my life at 14. Well, I started my real life at 35. So for him to trust me and look at me and give those boys over to me and trust me to walk across the bay, there was a huge crack. And we thought about jumping. And I just remember, well, it wouldn't be very good if I brought him back all soaking wet. And because Jode gave me that type of trust, I really wanted to excel with Alternative Highs. The summer before, so what are we talking, 2024, July of 2024, there is a meeting that I'm a part of, and they are looking for ways to come up with $1 million to donate for a hospital. I'll just talk about it. Sick Kids Hospital. The fraternity that I belong to was trying to raise money. And I thought to myself, I'm back to biking after the burn. Mind you, I had an open wound at this time, but I was keeping it a secret. Only very few knew about it. And I presented my idea, and it just went bonkers. I brought Jody in, I brought this other guy in, and we started doing this bike ride. Another failed attempt at a bike ride. Days before the bike ride, months before, I had a mental breakdown, and then days before, I broke one foot. Then I broke the other foot, and I was just falling apart. And we had to cancel the ride. The bike ride was no longer. That's just part of that. Rewind back to the July of 2024. I was thinking to myself, I'd always wanted to do something was social media. I don't work. I've got all this time and I really want to invest it properly. Plus, we need a way to talk about the bike ride. And that was when the Alternative Highs podcast was created, July of 2024. So from there, we've come to here. I started at my dinner table on LaCroix Street here in Chatham. We've moved to 2, 3, this is my third location. And it's only going to get bigger and better from here. We've got producer, Mr. Daniel Torres. We've got this beautiful studio. We've got this beautiful furniture from Mr. Fry. And I'm so grateful. And I know that was a long-winded 6-year talk about how we got to there. But it was something I felt necessary because it was a lot of hard work. I posted when nobody was looking, when nobody was liking, when nobody was... I still continue. Sometimes I only get, a couple. It's not about the views, and it's not about the likes, it's not about the comments. Though it would be nice, and the subs would be even better. It's about being consistent. It's about staying true to my determination, my dedication. I feel very strongly about these things. I've preached them, so I feel it necessary to act upon it myself on what I say. I just want to tell everybody that has followed, that has supported, that has sponsored, that has invested in me. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. It is wild that I am allowed to sit here, that I'm allowed to speak to you. I don't feel that I am worthy of it, but I do appreciate it, and I do love it. And it means so much to me that I get to do it. And I don't have too much else to say, because now I'm starting to get a little emotional. But Daniel, you got anything?
No, man, I think you should be very proud of yourself and proud of everything you've gone. And I'm very grateful for all of our viewers and all of our subscribers to join us on your journey. And I only just feel like we are at the cusp of something incredible. So you should be very proud of yourself, and congratulations, Dustin. 6 years in the making.
And with that, I'm going to say peace and love.